Hello everyone, please press subscribe, press follow, press the bell so you don't miss any new clips. Astral Pets Store. Author by Ancient She. Audio novels by Novelist. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 66. Skillful Block. It's not dead, but how? Everybody saw how powerful that direct spike attack was. It basically grounded little skeleton to particles. It was commonly believed that a skeleton still needed most of its bones intact to be resurrected. Little skeleton did not give them any more time to wonder. After unleashing another ferocious howl, it lunged at the magical corpse beast, blade raised, while red sigils like blood veins coursed through its bones. This was the bloodline power of a skeleton king. The magical corpse beast felt threatened by little skeleton's display. It roared back and hastily shot out more bone spikes to stop little skeleton from approaching. But little skeleton was just too agile at the moment. It skillfully evaded all the attacks by either jumping or using its blade to parry. Raru. Once again, the magical corpse beast began drawing dark pulses of energy to channel another spirit shock. This is bad. It's doing it again. Fan Gangli and Xuanhuan wanted to warn Su Ping to back off. While maintaining his cold look, Su Ping sent another order to Little Skeleton. Hoorah! It was Little Skeleton's deadly raw skill this time. As soon as the skill went off, the effect of spirit shock arrived, trying to disrupt Little Skeleton's consciousness again. However, Little Skeleton seemed completely unaffected this time. It kept running toward the magical corpse beast at full speed. It resisted the spirit shock. Fan Gangli pointed out, "Don't tell me that skeleton has higher spiritual potential than that 8th rank magical corpse beast." "That can't be," said Xuanhuan. "If so, it should have stayed behind to attack the enemy using spiritual attacks instead of charging ahead. Maybe it used some kind of special move to block off the skill." Deadly Roar was a pretty common skill that was easily found in tutorial books. Just like other similar skills, it was mainly used for intimidation. No one had noticed any defensive effects. Xuanhuan glanced at Su Ping again. He kept a neutral attitude. He knew this would work. Who is he, really? Kill it. Su Ping remotely ordered again. He discovered this extra effect of Deadly Roar when traveling inside the chaotic realm of the undead. Of course, Deadly Roar was not intended for defense. However, using the skill would somehow fill Little Skeleton up with uncontrollable violence and rage, which could in turn neutralize the invasive effect of the spirit shock. Even so, Su Ping still had to tell Little Skeleton to use Deadly Roar at the exact moment, down to a single millisecond, for this to work out. To practice, he spent a long time facing off a ghost monster that only knew how to use spiritual attacks. And even so, he could only succeed about 7 times out of 10. The magical corpse beast was halfway through another black annihilation. Before it could finish the skill, Little Skeleton was already upon its face. A simple slash was enough to destroy the incomplete vortex in the making. Next, Little Skeleton jumped onto the magical corpse beast and began randomly chopping it at lightning speed. Its sharp bone blade cut through the beast's outer shell like a knife meeting butter. Within seconds, large pieces of bones and chips were blown off. The magical corpse beast shrieked in pain and created a giant bone claw from its body to capture Little Skeleton, which was completely useless against Little Skeleton's rapid moves. The beast suddenly huddled into a ball and began rolling, hoping to crush Little Skeleton. The ground quaked as the giant bone ball madly twirled and bumped around, during which Little Skeleton was nowhere to be found. Fan Gangli and Xuanhuan feared that they would become the next target if Little Skeleton was killed. They would have escaped already, if they had not seen Su Ping still watching the battle with a plain look. Hey, should we help out? We can't just stand here." The woman accompanying Xuanhuan anxiously spoke to Su Ping. Lin Mokong and Xuanhuan followed suit and all gave Su Ping a questioning look. They had to admit that Su Ping was their most dependable helper at the moment. Su Ping didn't answer. He was too busy keeping an eye on the magical corpse beast. Raru. The rolling beast bellowed in great pain. It slowly came to a halt as black fog seeped out through its shell and slowly covered it up. The others stared at Su Ping again, not sure what exactly was happening. Su Ping breathed a sigh of relief and finally looked away from the battlefield. He gave the woman a friendly smile to thank her for her willingness to assist, before talking to Fan Gangli. It's done. Almost. You should pick up your azure Quetzalcoatl. Maybe it can still be saved. Fan Gangli gave the magical corpse beast an uncertain look. He couldn't see anything because it had been completely engulfed by the fog. He saw his azure Quetzalcoatl still struggling on the floor. With clenched teeth, he moved closer so he could drag the creature back into his pet space. Meanwhile, his mountain mover acted as his cover. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 67, Rideable Puppet. The condition of the azure Quetzalcoatl didn't look good. Without getting first aid from a masterful doctor, it would soon end up in an astral pet grave. Fan Yujing glanced at the fog warily. Mr. Su, did your skeleton get it under control? He stopped addressing Su Ping as buddy. It would be extremely odd to call someone who just displayed terrifying strength in this way. Sort of, yes. From what he sensed through the spiritual connection, Su Ping could tell that little skeleton was absorbing the undead energy left behind by the magical corpse beast. Earlier, little skeleton excavated a small hole on the body of the magical corpse beast and dived in order to evade the bowling ball attack, and easily tear the beast apart from the inside. Even the outer shell of the beast was unable to withstand its bone blade, let alone its vulnerable innards. That was to say, if this thing had any innards. Should we go there and finish it off? Asked Li Ying. He didn't do so yet because he sensed something creepy coming from the fog. Su Ping shook his head and took out the bottled fire dragon fruits. Has anyone seen a fire-tailed blood fox around here? Fan Yujing and Li Ying were taken aback by the question. They didn't think Su Ping still had this matter in mind after what just happened. A fire-tailed blood fox. Yi Chenshin frowned. He decided to play it safe with Su Ping for the moment. No, I'm afraid we haven't. That thing in your hand is pet feed for fire-type pets, right? Are you here to capture the fox? The fox is supposed to belong to someone in this team. I'm here to help him search for it. Su Ping seemed disappointed. Help? Yi Chenshin widened his eyes. He's not a member of their team. Makes sense. If he was, I would have heard of him. Thank you, Mr. Su. Fan Yujing just felt overwhelming gratitude filling him up. A moment earlier, he thought Su Ping was going to abandon their task. Su Ping simply gave Fan Yujing an unamused look. Come on, I'm not helping you. It's the goddamn system forcing me. First profanity alert. Forget it. If you're looking for a blood fox, I think I saw its footprints somewhere, the woman beside Yi Chenshin spoke up. She didn't seem sure about her decision because she didn't want to accidentally provide false clues. Really? Where did you see them? There's a slope around the woods up ahead. She pointed in a certain direction. But the footprints were left a long time ago. The scent was long gone. Now that I think about it, she's right. Yi Chenshin nodded along. Su Ping looked that way and kept the information in his mind. Thanks. It's us who should be thankful. The woman smiled. Nice to meet you. I'm Luo Guxu from Team Polaris. May I know your name? Su Ping. Su Ping. Both Luo Guxu and Yi Chenshin failed to find this name in their memories. Even so, they had more than enough reason to keep the name in mind. Someone so brilliant would soon get recognized by all the other teams out there. Fan Gangli had retrieved his pet in time to hear their conversation. His azure Quetzalcoatl would either die or survive with a serious disability at this rate. Learning about the fire-tailed blood fox did nothing to cheer him up. He looked at Yi Chenshin, who returned a knowing look and placed a hand on his shoulder. Mr. Fan, I never go back on my promises. Rest assured. For real, you'd give me another azure Quetzalcoatl. But that's an 8th rank astral pet. Yi Chenshin smiled and turned to Lin Mokong. Your wounded flame bird and the 6-armed gorilla too. I'll take care of their medical expenses. Lin Mokong was briefly shocked, before he quickly thanked Yi Chenshin. He could afford the treatment of his pets, but saving the money was even better. Lastly, Yi Chenshin addressed Su Ping politely. "Thank you for your help, Mr. Su." "You're welcome." The black fog around the magical corpse beast was dissipating, causing everyone to look that way. Like water drawn by a sponge, the fog retreated inside the beast's body. It remained motionless, without showing any energy signatures. Crack. Little skeleton emerged from an open wound and looked around the area using a pair of hollow eye sockets with crimson flames burning inside. Its dark bones were further blackened by the dark energy swirling around it. The others felt a sudden chill down their spines when Little Skeleton looked their way, as if they were being inspected by something a lot deadlier. Su Ping ordered Little Skeleton to use the puppet skill, which Little Skeleton learned the other day. Unlike the undead enslaving, this skill required some time to work. The dead magical corpse beast was the perfect material to make a puppet. Upon receiving Su Ping's command, Little Skeleton pumped more dark energy out of its body, which sank into the corpse below. The energy slowly repaired the magical corpse beast's broken bones. A few minutes later, the magical corpse beast twitched. The members of the group almost yelled in fear. "Calm down. It's a puppet now," Su Ping comforted them. A puppet? They all knew about this commonly seen skill, usually available to high-level undead creatures. But they never believed Su Ping's skeleton was potent enough to turn the mighty beast into a puppet. Following Little Skeleton's instructions, the magical corpse beast slowly stood back up. A puppet created this way was always one rank lower than when it was alive. Moreover, the puppet user could only control something 3 ranks higher than itself or below. Right then, this magical corpse beast puppet was only an upper 7th rank creature. As for how Little Skeleton pulled this off as a 3rd-rank astral pet, its superior aptitude had made it possible. The restriction of 3 ranks higher at most was a conclusion drawn by federal educators. The best potential of this skill was in fact unknown. Now we have something to ride on. Su Ping walked to the magical corpse beast first. Seeing him, the others followed behind, albeit more carefully. "You need to find a fire-tailed blood fox, right?" "We'll go with you," said Yi Chenshin. Su Ping agreed without a second thought. He knew that Yi Chenshin was probably tagging along so that they didn't have to return on foot while their pets were wounded. By using the magical corpse beast's speed and Luo Guxu's guidance, they soon reached the aforementioned footprints and began their search for more traces left by the fox. Su Ping took out the fire dragon fruits and squashed them up. This way, he could use the smell of the fruits to attract fire-type astral pets. This space fracture was mainly occupied by beasts of the undead type, so they didn't have to worry about attracting unwanted creatures. The others were amazed by how Su Ping made such a costly preparation just to find the fox. A few hours later, they reached the edge of a high cliff, where they found more tracks. Fresh ones. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 68. Netherstone. Fan Gangli followed the paw prints until he reached the edge of the cliff. "Don't tell me. I saw trails left by other creatures. Maybe something's chasing it." With nowhere to go, it jumped off, said Yi Chenshin. Fan Yujing and Li Ying didn't look pleased. The journey had cost them dearly. And Fan Gangli's most precious astral pet had almost been killed. If the fire-tailed blood fox had already died at the bottom of the cliff, all the time and effort would be for nothing. Su Ping slowly scanned the area and also noticed the messy remains that suggested a fight. There were bright red fur remains and broken bone chips everywhere. He jumped off from the magical corpse beast and looked below the cliff, while not forgetting about keeping an eye on who was behind him. The others in the group probably would not push him off, but he preferred to err on the side of caution. There was nothing to look at. It was nighttime. Did anyone bring any flare sticks? Everyone had stepped down from the magical corpse beast to check what was beyond the cliff. It was Li Ying who took out several flares from his backpack and handed them to Su Ping. Su Ping popped one and tossed it away. Using the falling light source, he could see the brownish cliff wall, some small plants growing on the wall, as well as strands of red fur randomly tucked between pointy rocks. He also caught a glimpse of a strange object somewhere, but failed to recognize it since the flare was dropping too fast. He threw another in the same direction. This time, he successfully found the object to be some kind of irregularly shaped stone with dark golden sparkles on its surface. It was lodged inside the wall. Is that gold ore or what? This place was supposed to be uncharted. Finding valuable minerals was no surprise. In fact, this was why settlers loved their job. By finding a gold or uranium mine, they'd become richer than most of their peers overnight. Naturally, Su Ping would love to bring such a nice trophy back. But there was no way he could climb down there and excavate the ore all by himself. He needed help. Besides, his storage space was too small to contain too many unrefined minerals. His best option was to ask an astral pet to transport him back in bulk. Fan Gangli tossed a stone over the cliff and listened, but no one heard the final drop. Li Ying, send your earthworm down there. If the fox is dead, I want to see its body. Li Ying nodded and ordered his pet worm to start digging. Su Ping was still unhappy about the situation. If their target was dead, it meant he had failed his mission. A moment later, Li Ying opened his eyes and exclaimed happily. I found it. It's alive. Really? It can't fly. How did it survive the fall? There's a cave down there. I saw the fox inside. A cave? Huh. Su Ping wondered how long the poor creature had been waiting there. Quickly, get us there. Fan Gangli looked thrilled after that. Of course. I'll tell my earthworm to dig a tunnel. Soon, the worm creature released some acidic body fluid to uncover its path until it was big enough for humans to pass through. By following the downward slope, they were able to reach the said cave. Or, it was not really a cave. At least Su Ping would only see it as a small burrow in the wall. The fire-tailed blood fox was resting in its depths. Upon sensing intruders, it immediately went into a battle stance. Though it quickly calmed down when it recognized Fan Gangli and Fan Yujing. Thank goodness, there you are. Fan Gangli smiled slightly. At least he completed his task. The fox affectionately nudged Fan Gangli. Fan Gangli was not its master, but they were close friends nonetheless. Su Ping checked and found no fatal injuries on the fox apart from some scratches. Good news for him. It used those vines creeping on the wall to slow down while falling, I think. Yi Chenshin looked above. Su Ping remembered the pointy stone which could also be used as a stepping stone. Then he spoke to Li Ying. I saw exposed minerals up there. Tell your earthworm to make another path so we can check it out. Mineral. Everybody was glad to hear such a thing. They could earn big money if they got their hands on gold or even something better. Let's do it, Fan Gangli urged. Li Ying complied and gave the order to his pet, which dug another tunnel in the cliff. The tunnel ended up where a sturdy object was buried in the wall. It was something several meters in both length and width, like a really massive boulder. Fan Gangli found a small device and began scanning the object. Uranium, 0.002%. Gold, 2.902%. Silver. Such disappointing readings. The device was meant to detect the element composition of the object. However, none of the displays was above 5%, which meant this thing was nothing too useful. As they wondered what such a large object was doing there, Little Skeleton suddenly put both hands on it and eagerly stroked its surface as if it really wanted it. Su Ping quickly realized that the unknown object might be something useful to undead-type pets. System, do you know what this is? He asked in his mind. Affirmative. Nice. Tell me. Appraisal cost, 100 energy points. Crap. Su Ping checked his balance, which was a little less than 700, and decided to pay the price. This is nether ore, a compressed form of undead energy. When refined, it will produce a Netherstone. You may use it as an enhancement tool, or as a currency to trade with residents in the realm of the undead. Netherstone. Just like spirit stones. You may put it that way. System, can you refine it? Affirmative. Awesome. Can you? 100 energy points. Quote ellipsis quote. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 69. Return. Yi Chenshin moved closer to read the device, before he spoke up with a disappointed look. I'm afraid we don't know what this is. Maybe it's valuable, maybe not. I'd say it's just a cluster of random metals. Such things were everywhere in space ruptures. Settlers who discovered them could bring them back to the Federation for inspection and earn a fortune if they proved to be of great use. Otherwise, it would only be a waste of their time. We should get a sample and bring it back then, Luo Guxu suggested. This was a logical decision and no one had a problem agreeing to it. They could learn the nature of the unknown mineral this way and come back to get more later. Su Ping didn't want his energy points to go down the drain because he had already spent 100 points to identify the mineral. The Federation was going to take everything at this rate. He might earn some compensation for the discovery, but that wouldn't be worth it. Can I have it? His words attracted everyone's attention. He basically told the others that the unknown mineral was in fact useful in some way. But he didn't have a choice. Since the specialized device failed to tell what this was, he believed that not even the Federation would have an idea about what the material was, which meant people might let him keep it. Do you know this thing? Asked Fan Gangli, curious. Su Ping shook his head. No, but my astral pet detected undead energy from it, which means I can use it to feed my pet. If it's okay, can we remain here for a few days so little skeleton can fully absorb the energy? That was partially a lie. As long as he played dumb, the Federation would not blame him even if they later recognized the true value of the material. His excuse went through because little skeleton was undeniably the only astral pet present who could use undead energy. Still, people weren't precisely eager to stay in this place any longer than necessary just to keep Su Ping company. They had gone pretty far into this space rupture and already encountered that 8th rank magical corpse beast. Nobody knew what else could make an appearance. Without minding their attitude, Su Ping simply told little skeleton to start eating. He didn't actually plan to remain behind until the energy was fully taken. It was just that, he didn't want anyone to get suspicious. His act worked out just fine. Seeing little skeleton drawing energy from the strange stone, the last bit of doubt vanished from the group. All things said, they still didn't understand why Su Ping would tarry in this dangerous area for days. They saw Su Ping pretty keen on keeping this stone for himself and couldn't help wondering what else was hidden inside it. Usually, they'd trust the Federation's device. If the device failed to tell anything, it was unlikely for a common shopkeeper to know more. However, Su Ping had shown them too many secrets for them to have this lingering belief. Still, they had nothing concrete to stop little skeleton from feeding. They couldn't make any use of the undead energy anyway. While materials helpful with pet growth could earn them some merit should they bring them back, they had no reason to take this one from Su Ping after what he did. So this is just an element stone full of undead type energy, right? Asked Luo Guxu. Fan Gangli put a hand on it and nodded. I think so, though element stones are usually smooth and good to look at. This crude one is just a raw element ore. I have no objections about Mr. Su keeping it, Fan Yujing claimed. Fan Gangli nodded again. Same here. Mr. Su helped us reach our destination after all. Yi Chenshin also spoke up with a smile. Then it's decided. I'll let Mr. Su make the decision. Just a piece of advice though, taking several days here can be risky. Since you have that puppet to help, shall we carry the stone back first? Yeah, we'd better get out of here, Fan Gangli agreed. Su Ping saw all the others thinking along those lines and nodded as well. All right. Fan Gangli sighed in relief and told his earthworm to enlarge the tunnel so they could carry the nether ore back to the surface. Then they found some ropes to bind it onto the magical corpse beast. After making sure the fox came following, the group retreated. Just like before, Li Ying moved farther ahead as a scout. Meanwhile, Yi Chenshin summoned another pet good at detecting danger as an extra layer of safety. On their way, they would evade everything that looked strong and kill all other easier prey. The most dangerous enemy they ran into was a lower, 8th rank bug monster, which was easily maimed by little skeleton, the magical corpse beast and the flame bird working together. The ranks of their foes began dropping as they approached the outer edge of the space fracture zone. But they still remained highly cautious because high-rank astral pets could well hide among weaker ones to ambush them. They finally felt their tension ease when looking at the exit just up ahead. There were other settler teams gathering there, who were spooked for good when they saw the magical corpse beast running in their direction. The ruckus lasted until the beast disappeared into the fracture. "I'm not seeing things, right, guys?" A settler wondered out aloud. "That's a magical corpse beast of the 8th rank. Someone's riding it. Who are those people? I think I saw Xuanhuan up there. Xuanhuan from Team Polaris. Maybe that's their leader's pet." The appearance of the magical corpse beast aroused more panic at the temporary campsite. Seeing so many people giving him odd looks, the others in the group all grew embarrassed. Though this was to be expected since the magical corpse beast was way larger than common mounts used by average settlers. Besides, it sure looked dangerous. Several guards hurried to the scene, then returned to their posts when they saw who were riding the beast. "Let's go." Without waiting, Su Ping told the beast to move on, causing many settlers in their way to quickly back off in either fear or respect. Most people recognized Fan Gangli and Xuanhuan. Soon, they started exchanging gossip. On heavy but fast steps, the magical corpse beast soon moved out of the camp area. The group was once again on guard because it was still possible to run into powerful astral pets in this Class B barren area. They picked the shortest route so they could reach the base as soon as possible. Since most settlers used this path, wild astral pets all knew to stay away, apart from a few ferocious ones that were always looking for trouble. After eliminating a few more 4th or 5th rank ferals, they finally saw the lights of the settlers' base welcoming their successful return. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 70, Invitation from the Academy. Unsurprisingly, the defensive deployments around the main base, including several missile launchers and laser cannons, were all aimed at the magical corpse beast. The guards saw friendlies sitting on the creature and asked everyone to hold their fire. Though they still had to thoroughly check the returning group's settler badges so they didn't accidentally invite spies who were being controlled by hostile astral pets. Such tragedies occurred several times when either beast kings or low-rank parasites planned to infiltrate the base. As the second line of defense protecting the base city, they had to ensure security. Once checked that everything was in order, the guards silently kept Su Ping's name in their minds. There weren't many settler teams who possessed such powerful astral pets as mounts. "I'm sorry, sir, but you have to put your partner back inside your pet space," a guard politely spoke to Xuanhuan, when he thought the giant creature belonged to Team Polaris. Large-sized pets aren't allowed to walk freely in the facility. Xuanhuan cleared his throat. Mr. Su, the man's right, I'm afraid. You should leave your puppet outside for the moment." Several guards looked at Su Ping in great surprise. They thought this particular young man was a kid from some rich family who was tagging along to gain experience. But not even a rich kid would be able to summon an 8th rank pet without having the strength to control it. "There's no need." Su Ping shook his head. "I'm turning in this thing to get some merit." The magical corpse beast was Little Skeleton's puppet and could not go inside his personal pet space. Since he couldn't keep it with him in the base city, it would be better to get rid of it. Besides, he didn't need such a burdensome creature to help him fight when he had Little Skeleton. And it wasn't like he planned to fight astral pets in the Barrens often. Supposing he had to return some time in the future, he might just find a dead pet and make another puppet out of it. The others, however, couldn't quite accept his decision. Everybody would absolutely like such an awesome mount to show off. Why would they hand it over to the Federation? Fan Gangli even tried persuading Su Ping, who did not listen at all. After ordering the puppet to place the nether ore on the ground, Su Ping told Little Skeleton to cancel the puppet effect. As soon as the undead energy was taken away, the magical corpse beast turned into a pile of bones. The others couldn't help but feel their hearts aching upon seeing Su Ping giving up such a precious tool. Yet they couldn't do anything about it. A transportation team in the base came and took all the bones and the nether ore further inside. God damn it. Such a waste, Fan Gangli mumbled. The others more or less knew that Su Ping was not with them. As a shopkeeper usually stayed in the base city, he didn't have much use for the magical corpse beast anyway. While waiting for the inspection results to come out, Yi Chenshin excused himself first. Guys, since everything's done, I'll report back to my team. All right. Fan Gangli and Li Ying nodded back. Good luck, man. Su Ping also showed his courtesy. See you next time. I'll find time to talk about your compensation in a few days. Yi Chenshin walked away. No one objected. They knew someone like Yi Chenshin wouldn't keep him hanging. Before leaving, both Yi Chenshin and Luo Guxu asked to exchange contact information. This is where I work in the base city, said Luo Guxu, as she handed Su Ping her business card. If you're interested, I hope you can come to our academy. With that kind of skill and potential, you'll be benefiting a lot of upcoming battle pet warriors and enriching our future. Su Ping read the card and found the name on it to be familiar. It seemed this academy was where his sister was attending. Luo Guxu was a senior professor. I'll think about it. Luo Guxu thanked everyone politely and went away after Yi Chenshin. A moment later, the report of the prize they delivered came back. They had earned 1.6 million merit points in total. That was a big number, according to what Su Ping learned from Fan Gangli the other day. As he remembered, the merit points for killing of first rank was 10, second was 50, third was 100. Then the price would climb in folds from here. 1,000, 10,000, until it reached 500,000 for a 7th rank kill. As for 8th rank pets, even the weakest one was worth at least 1 million. The magical corpse beast was an intermediate 8th rank, so 1.6 million was a very reasonable result. However, Fan Gangli didn't look happy upon seeing the result. Damn, they settled the payout based on an ordinary magical corpse beast. The magical corpse beast they took back was absolutely not ordinary when it could use Black Annihilation, a 9th rank skill. As Fan Gangli believed, they should be rewarded double. But they couldn't argue anymore because the corpse couldn't prove anything. No one suggested a second inspection. It just wouldn't work out. Su Ping didn't have any problem with the result at all. The merit points could get him enough rewards already. Also, he was registered as the killer of the beast in the end, as agreed by everyone else. The single record had boosted Su Ping from a recruit all the way to the silver tier. The next tier would be gold, which required him to earn a total of 5 million merit points. Above gold were honored settlers who could hunt down 9th rank enemies, which meant over 10 million merit points for each kill. Just like titled battle pet warriors, honored settlers were the most respected individuals on this planet. End of the chapter. Astral Pets Store will be read in 5 chapters for every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. Please leave this sound novel and press subscribe, follow, and the bell so you don't miss any new clips as well. See you.